Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Stitches by Ruby. So guys, we'll be making this dress today, and as you can see, this is not a V-neck waistline, like it's not a V waistline or some axe waistline. This one is like a semicircle one. Okay, so guys, let's get into it. So I've already placed my fabric on the table, and this is me marking my starting point. Mark your starting point. Okay, then and now I took the length of my top. It has a half length. Okay, I took it, that's 17, because I'll be joining the up with half inch, and also join the half length to that semicircle that is like semicircle. Okay, so the top length will now be what, 16. When you have joined half up and half down, it will no longer be 17, it will now be 16. So my half length is 16. I now took my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 14, but I marked at 7.5. 14 divided by 2 is 7, but I marked at 7.5. Okay, then I came down by 1 inch to slant it. Okay, to slant the shoulder, I took my neck measurement, which was 3. My neck was, I used 3 because I don't want it to be loose, and the down part I made it a V neck. I went down by 6.5. Okay, I didn't want it to be down, but if you want yours to be showing your cleavage, you can go down by 7.5 or even 8 or 9. But I didn't want mine to be showing my cleavage. I went, I that 6.5 I measured. I also measured that 3 inches I measured up and used ruler to draw it. Okay, so that I will get a straight line. Okay, after getting the straight line, I used my French curve to curve the neck. I didn't want it to be pointed, okay? I just wanted it to be like a V shape but not pointed. I don't want it to have any pointed mouth. So if you want yours to have pointed mouth, you can just draw it like a V, but this one is not pointed. So I slanted my shoulder and then drew the I measured my chest line to be 8.5. And when you take out that 1 inch you use in slanting the shoulder, what will remain will be 7.5. Please, anything you are doing, make sure you are using your measurement. Don't use the same measurement I'm using here because we are not of the same measurement. Okay, so whatever is your measurement, that's what you're going to use for your own dress. Don't make the mistake of using the exact thing I used, please. So after taking the 8.5 and slanting by 1 is remaining 7.5, I took the half of 7.5 in order to be able to curve my armhole. Okay, and after taking the half of 7.5, I came in by half inch. At that point, I measured the half of 7.5 and then curved the armhole. Okay, so that's what you do. You come in by half inch. For front armhole, you come in by half inch. For the back, you don't need to go in or go out. You just draw it from that line. Okay, you see it. You see it when I'm cutting the back. So you take your bust measurement at that line. Your armhole stops. Okay, that line, your armhole, you took your armhole ends. That's where you're going to take your bust measurement. Then take your waist measurement at the end of the top. You know it, I measured 16 as, sorry, 17 inches as my top length. At that point, you take your waist measurement and add your allowance. Okay, you add your allowance at the bust and also your allowance at the waistline. Okay, after that, you cut your fabric. You use scissors and cut it out. Okay, this was me trying to get the armhole like so that it will be very sharp. So you cut your fabric gently. I'm trying to make this tutorial like beginners friendly. That's what I'm trying to make sure that I videoed everything, like I showed everything I did here. Okay. You know those lines you drew. That's the same way I'm going to follow it while cutting the fabric. Okay. You don't have to follow any other line. Those chalks, those allowances you drew and you use ruler to connect from the bust to the waist. That's the same way I'm going to use the scissors to cut it. Please don't make mistake of cutting something else that you did not draw, that you did not use chalk to draw, please. Just follow those lines and cut it. Okay. So this is me trying to you try cutting the back. This is the back. I've already placed the front to the back. Okay. So cutting the front, cutting the back, you know it will have a zip. So you have to take your zip allowance. I took 1.5 inch as my zip allowance. Okay, I took 1.5 inch as my zip allowance. You can take 2 inches, can take one. It depends on what you want to use for your zip allowance. For me here, I'm using 1.5. Okay, so cutting the back is not really difficult because it's actually what you cut from the front for the front that you cut for the back. The only difference is the neck and then the zip allowance you're adding. Okay, that's just the difference. So this is me. I'm cutting the back right now. I want to cut out the back first. Okay, before I cut the neck. The neckline is not really going to be a big deal because the neckline is going to be like 1 inch or 1.5. It's not going to be more than that because I don't want the back neck to be down. I want it to be like a high neck at the back, while the front one will be V neck. So this is me. You cut your fabric gently, oh, don't cut it anyhow so that you don't. And as you're cutting it, make sure you're holding the fabric so that it doesn't shift. Or if you have something that you can place on your fabric to avoid it from moving, because once your fabric moves from shift and you are still cutting, it's going to affect it. Seriously, going to affect it. So make sure it's either you pin it or you are holding it just like the way I was doing. So you take the 1 inch for the back. Okay, you take the 1 inch for the back, then curve it. You curve it. You curve the neckline for the back. As you can see now, I'm trying to cut the front and back as 1 inch before I now cut off the neckline for the front. Okay, so that I don't make the mistake of removing the back and then measuring. It's going to be a whole lot of thing. Okay, so this one is actually easier. You are taking the measurement in the front and then you cut the front and back together because the front one is going down, so it's not cutting both of them together is not going to affect the front because the front neckline is actually going down while the back one is up. Okay, so it's not going to affect the front neckline if you cut it together. It's just going to make it easier for you not to start taking measurements for the back again. Okay, so that is it. I've already cut the zipper allowance. So after that, I measured 1 inch from the center back and then slanted it so that it will not have the zipper bulge at the back. You know, sometimes after making dresses, the back of the dress is going to puff out and it doesn't look nice. It doesn't look nice. And so this 1 inch I removed now is to prevent that bulging at the back. Okay, so you cut your neckline, the front neckline, cut it, and after cutting it, I think that's all for the top part. Okay, you cut it. Be careful while cutting it so that you don't cut more than you're supposed to cut, or even not follow the line that you drew. Anything you draw, follow it. Don't follow another thing and be going. Okay, so this is the neckline for the front. You're seeing how beautiful it is. I've already folded my fabric for the semi circle on. Okay, I call it semi circle because I think that's what it looks like, even though it's not exactly like, I don't know, but I can't call it a V waistline because it's not V. So I think the semicircle is preferable for me. So you can choose any name you want to call it. So that is what I want to cut now. I already marked my starting point and I marked 7.5. Okay. I didn't want it to come down so much and I didn't want it to be small either. So 7.5. I took the same waist measurement I took for the top part and also the same allowance. I took 2 inches allowance. Yes. So after that, I took my hip measurement at that 7.5. Yes. Why I did my it's I don't think it's my hip measurement like that is from my waist to 7.5 is my waist. But I just put it there because I don't know how to start measuring where 7.5 is, like from my waist. So I just took my hip measurement there. Okay. So I came down by 2.5 from that startup line after putting the allowance. So guys, when you want to make this, if you don't want that side to come down, like you want it to be slim, maybe you want it to be just be 2 inches before the curve, before you start curving it down, please make sure that you take like 2 inches. Don't come down by 5 inches before curving it to the hip line. If you do it like that, when you finish shaping, the thing might be like after joining the fabric and all of that, you might not see any difference between the curve, the upper curve and the down one. So if you want it to be obvious that you actually curve something, you start with 2 inches so that even if you finish joining and the thing is coming down, okay, it doesn't affect, it won't be that much. Like you see, notice the difference between the upper part and the curve you made at the down part. I don't know if you understand. So consider the inches you are coming down before curving, because after joining it might you might not notice any difference. I think that happened to me, but next time I won't come down by 3 inches. I think it was 3 inches I came down from with. So here you take your the same 1.5 inches you took for the half length. That's the same thing you're going to take here. Okay. One thing about back dress is just that once you have cut the front, the next thing is just add your zip allowance and cut it. Okay. So here you see, I only added zip allowance and next thing is just for me to cut it. So you cut your, should I call it a backs? Maybe I should use the backs waist because I don't want to be calling semicircle. But I hope you understand. Like this is not really a V waistline, but you can call it a backs. Maybe I should be using backs waistline instead of the semicircle. I think it's preferable. Okay, so you cut it, whichever one that is okay with you. Just use it backs waistline semicircle, waist, anyone. Cut it and open your zipper allowance, okay? Because that's where the zip will be now. It cannot be together. You have to open it. After that, I think after that this thing has a flea, a gather. After this back twist, it has a gather that went through the hole from the front to the back or from the back to the back again. So you have to cut the inches you want. I use 15 inches for my own, okay? So if you want it shorter, it depends on the length you want, okay? You cut it. Whichever length you want, you do that. This you now cut your V sorry, you now cut your lining, okay? What you use and turn up the neck. Cut it all just the same way you cut the neck, you follow it and then cut the lining for it or facing. And it's facing because I'm not cutting the exact thing that is in the main one. It's just for the neck that I'm cutting. You take 3 inches from that shoulder. Then after taking 3 inches from the shoulder, you also come down and take 3 inches again. After taking the 3 inches, you curve it. Okay, you curve it the same way. It's just as if you're making another V shape. You get, you curve it from this three to the three that is down, and then you cut it. That's how to cut facing. Okay, it doesn't have to be so big unless you want it to be. Some people can, you can even use 2.5, but sometimes if you use a smaller inches for it, it might be coming out like the facing instead of relaxing to be coming out. Although you can use hemming gum to hem your facing so that it doesn't do that. For your 3 inches is okay for your facing. Okay. Then after that, you also cut your facing for the back the same way you cut facing for the front. You place your fabric on on the you place the back on the fabric you want to use and cut your facing. Okay. Okay. So you just cut it the same way, add your 3 inches from the shoulder and then come down same way you did for the front. That's what you're still going to do for the back. Okay, so guys, this is for the cutting part. Okay, so I'll upload another video for the sewing part. I just want, why this video is long is because I want to make it a beginners friendly, okay, that everybody will understand the steps taken to cut this dress. I don't want it to be confused. I don't want to miss any step, okay? So that's why I tried my best not to miss any part. I know it's long, but it's better for you to understand it than jumping some parts and you don't even understand what I'm talking about. And even at that, if you still don't understand any part, okay, you can ask your question in the comment section. Okay, I'll always respond to your questions. So guys, this will be the end of this video. Yes, if you have watched up to this part, please, I'm pleading, just subscribe to my channel for more videos. Okay, I really hope you learned something from this, and I hope that you're going to try it out and maybe share with me the final results. I hope so. So thank you for watching up to this point. I really appreciate. Okay, I really appreciate. Like, it's not easy, but I'm glad that you actually learned something. That's the most important thing. Okay, so guys, see you guys in my next video. I'm going to upload the sewing video. Okay, I'm going to upload it so that you guys will also learn how to sew it, not just how to cut it. Okay, so guys, see you guys in my next video. Bye.